Hi to my lone one person. I don't know what happened. I was buffering, and also, I mean, there I went. So hopefully this one will stick. I mean, I'm connected to my Wi-Fi. So hang on. Let me get you. Hang on, uno momento. We'll try to get some other folks on here. Here I be. Here I be. All right. I don't know what happened, y'all. I don't have a clue. Did y'all tell them in the other chat that I had to start over? We'll let everybody try to catch up. Okay. All right. Hey, Ronnie. Thanks for coming back. And Jay. Okay, cool. Because I don't have any way to tell y'all because I had to end the first one and then that just cuts me off. I'm disconnected from you at that point. New thumbs up. New thumbs up. Where's Nala and them? Pam's back. Pam's back. All right. Where's Booger Rick? He does not want to miss these stories. I can promise you. Oh, we're still filtering?
You are now since I called you.
Great. Great. Why does it do that?
Oh no, it must be weather between us.
I have no idea. Well, somebody wake Rick up. He does not want to miss these stories. I'm telling you. So, we good to go? All right. So anyway, where was I? Anyway, let me just kind of pick back up where I was at.
I don't know where you were at.
Well, I was telling about, I don't know where y'all lost me at, but anyway, anxiety. Yes. I've retired with some anxiety. But I got
we met at the designated place.
Do what?
We met at the designated place.
We met at our designated place, and then we got some ice for the chest, and then off to her property. And so I would say we kind of landed at your property 11-ish, a little after, probably about 11:15, 11:20, somewhere in there.
Yeah, you were late.
I know I was late. I couldn't get out the door. Like I said, it wasn't like packing for for a trip and I'm staying at a hotel. It was, I would load something in the truck and I'm like, oh, let me get the tea out of the refrigerator. Oh, let me get the turkey and the cheese out of the refrigerator. Oh, let me get my sleeping bag. Oh, let me get the trash can. Oh, and I mean, it was just one trip to the, and then I'm like, and I still forgot my pillow. I still forgot stuff, so that makes me mad. But anyway, Dee has often mentioned about how her property is in the middle of nowhere. Okay, she's not lying. It's a geographical odyssey, and anyway, and she's often talked about before, or she's mentioned before, that when they originally got their RV and was taking it to the property, they couldn't get up this, basically the side of a mountain, and they had to get a tractor. Okay, well, I got to see why they couldn't get up that mountain. And I'm telling you, if I'd have been in anything but a truck, I don't think I got up that hill. So exactly, you can't get there from here. But anyway, I noticed after we had gotten onto the property and we're doing our thing, and all of a sudden we come around this bend and Dee just stops. Now she's in a four-wheel. Yours is four-wheel drive, right? Yeah, I know it is. Okay. So she stops. I thought, why is she stopping? And then I kind of look off to my left. And I thought, holy moly, we're fixing to scale Mount Everest. And all of a sudden, Dee just takes off, and I'm like, oh, I've been here before on a four-wheeler, you know. I know what's fixing to happen. And so once you got going and you got up that hill, I'm like, you know, I'm not even Catholic, but I'm like going, oh, here we go. And I'm like, whoa. I like stepped on the gas, man. I'm like, it was one of those.
It's straight up, isn't it?
It is straight up. And it's one of those, once you start on the gas, don't get off the gas, you know. And so anyway, Dee was far enough ahead of me. And so by the time, you know, because I'm giving it the gas, I've got to get up and I'm not going to let off the gas. So anyway, we leveled out only to hit, what, 120 yards of a mud pit. It looked like something you see at a muddy tractor pull, okay? Now, I didn't know that was coming. And so all of a sudden I see Dee just like fishtailing and stuff, and I'm like, okay, it was Baja time, and I'm going, I don't have, you know, off-road tires. I just got regular street tires on that Dodge, and I'm like, oh my Lord. And so I'm like, if I get stuck, they're gonna have to pull me out. It was that kind of muddy.
We're all gonna die.
We're all gonna die. But yeah, so anyway, we made it. We got through that, and we unload our stuff and all that. And anyway, the first thing I started, yeah, it was fun times. The first thing that really I started to take in was how quiet it was. And that's when I realized we're out in the middle of nothing. And now it's been a long time since I've been out in the middle of nothing. I didn't forget what being in the middle of nothing is like, but I'm just older now, okay? And so, anyway, we eat, you know, a late lunch, and we just kind of diddle around, and Dee shows me the quick highlights that are pretty close to where we're at, you know, in the vicinity of where we're at. Now, mind you, where we're at, the space is only cleared out for the RV and some walking around room out in front, you know. I mean, probably a good, 30 yards to that wood line in question. And you've got the drive coming up, but I mean, outside of this area that's just kind of carved out, that was done by a bulldozer, I'm assuming, a bulldozer?
Yeah.
Woods, okay? And so, anyway, I think where my anxiety started to kind of kick in is when nightfall started to happen. The sun started going down, and I started to realize the junk's getting real. I'm embarrassed to admit it, because what I've already told a couple people is no matter how tough I've always thought I've been because I was a police officer, that went out the window as soon as it got dark up there. And I'm telling you, and Dee knows it, I was uncomfortable. And we've got a campfire going, and that's our only light, okay?
All right, hold on a second. Everybody say, poor Lisa.
Stop it. But yeah, I started to get a little unsettled. Now, mind you, stop it, Bam. I see what you... But, you know, and the funny thing is I'm up there for this. But when you're suddenly there, it takes on a different meaning, okay? I'm no longer in the comfort of my truck on a country road looking at a wooded area in the comfort of my truck. And so it gets dark up there. And plus, I had already checked the moon phases. So I already knew we didn't have any help from the moon. I mean, there was such a tiny sliver of the moon, it was useless. It just didn't even need to rear its little head because it provided. I could have gotten more light from a big lighter than I could have from the moon, okay? And so, anyway, did we hear anything the first night, Dee? I don't think we did because we went in the RV at like 6:30.
Yeah, no, I'm the one because, well, you were up, but you weren't hearing what I was hearing. You just kept asking me if we were moving the RV around and stuff like that, and I was just giggling because. Yeah.
Moving the RV around?
Remember when you kept saying what you guys were doing in there?
No.
Yeah. RV was making noises. It was moving around. You were asking us what we were doing in there.
Y'all, we were
Anyway,
outside.
No, when we went inside, we didn't hear anything before that. When I started seeing the eye shine, I automatically go inside. I don't care what time it is because they don't go by a clock.
Wait a minute, you
They
saw
go by
eye shine?
Yeah.
You didn't tell me you saw eye shine.
No, Lizzie and I. That's why Sandy left.
Y'all ain't right. Well, I'm glad you didn't tell me you saw eye shine. Where did you see eye shine? Come on.
Behind us.
Behind
In
us?
that area in the area where area is. Where Lizzie kept spinning around looking backwards and the dogs kind of got a little uneasy. I was giggling because Lizzie and I both saw the eye shine, but then Sandy looked up and then she said, all right, time for me to go.
Did she see it?
I'm sure she did.
Well, that's good news. I didn't see nothing. Because I'm like just taking it all in that it's just pitch black like the abyss outside of the campfire. But
Well, I'm glad I didn't say anything.
Oh, well, you better be glad you didn't say anything because you know how I was once I got in the RV.
Yeah, I know.
So anyway, Dee kind of her whole demeanor changes and she goes, "Okay, we need to go inside." Well, I didn't question it, because I was uncomfortable and I hadn't heard anything or seen anything, but it's only 6:30, okay, and so I had chosen not to take my Ambien, but I had brought it, okay? And so my Ambien, all that's in the truck. And I've got everything else I need inside the RV. So we get inside the RV, the door is locked, and of course Lizzie, precious little Lizzie, ain't helping me none because she keeps going, well, let me lock the door. Well, I mean, I could have opened it if you want me to. And I'm like, Lizzie, lock the door. Quit touching the door. This is where the freak out starts to happen. And she's having a great time with this. And lo and behold, y'all, all of a sudden, Dee just, that big 4-foot window, she just opens it. Okay? Throws the blinds up, opens the window, and I'm going, my eyes got this big. I said, what are you doing? What are you doing? Because, see, that part of the RV faces the woods. The door we come in is at the campfire side. And all of a sudden she goes, because Dee's going to smoke and she's just going to blow smoke out the window. I was like, oh, well, that makes sense. I mean, I'm thankful because obviously I don't smoke. But Dee's all nestled up because she's got a U-shaped dinette. So she's all tucked in the corner by the window, sticks her face up to the screen. She goes, hey, boo. And I'm going, what are you doing? I'm sitting on an ice chest facing the window. And Lizzie's sitting across from me with her back to that glass, which I would have never done. And Dee's going, hey, guys. I miss y'all. And I'm like, would you stop? Stop it. And she's like, can y'all come up to the window? Oh my God, what? I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. And she's smoking and the smoke's going out. And Yeah, if y'all think we're just silly like right doing this right here, you should have seen us in person. It was worse. It was worse. And oh, you better believe that door was locked. I would have nailed it shut, Jay, if I could have.
Oh my goodness, a big chicken! It wasn't gonna hurt you.
Well, let me tell you. When I already know from a previous time that they've tried to open your door, I'm already a little uncomfortable. And then you got Lizzie flicking the lock, unlock. And I'm going, you know, I'm like, I don't have enough Xanax to deal with this problem. And my stuff's outside. And so, anyway, we sit there and, like, at one point, y'all, Dee puts her hand up on the screen. And she goes, can you touch my hand? Oh, my soul. At that point, I am about to pass out. Okay? And I'm going, would you stop it? And I said, the last thing I need is for one of these things to come up and go put its hand on the window. I'm not ready for that. I got to ease into this. And Dee's just going, and then she's doing this. And I'm like, you have lost your mind. Because she's like, because we've got the little light on above the dinette. So she's just doing this up at the window. And I'm like, oh, God, what are you doing? And then, y'all, oh, it just gets better. It just gets better. All of a sudden, Dee's just sitting there because she's got her shoulder up against the backrest of this dinette. So she's right there. I mean, when I tell you she's at the window, okay, here's Dee's face, boink, hitting the screen, boink. Okay, she's that close. And all of a sudden, she has this look on her face. She just kind of looks, and she's looking. And then she taps Lizzie. And Lizzie, because they've been together on these adventures enough, Lizzie knows, just knows, okay? And Dee's pointing something, and so Lizzie, with her back to the window, turns her head, and she's looking. And then she does this, y'all. She looks at Dee, because I'm just sitting here watching it. She looks at Dee, she goes, kid you not, she goes, is its head kind of like tilted, crooked? And I'm telling you, y'all, I said, whoa, whoa. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Wait a minute. And Lizzie looks back at me. She goes, its eyes are glowing. What? And I'm thinking at first they're pulling my leg. Okay? And Dee says, just come over here, sit here, and look out. And my answer is, nope. Ain't happening. Ain't happening. Ain't gonna happen. I'm telling you, Robin, I'm telling you. Oh, Ronnie, to say I lost it is an understatement, okay?
I'm still losing it. Oh my gosh, I've never laughed so hard in my life.
Well, let me tell you, and Dee's just going, just come here. It ain't happening, Dee. And especially, and I'm like, you're messing with me? Because I'm not, you know, I mean, we can't play like this all night, okay? And I'm like, there is no way this window's staying open and the shade's up, okay? Because it is a 4-foot window. So finally, and her many attempts to get me to come over there, like trade places with her, or at least sit down and try to lean over and look, I ain't doing it, okay? I'm not doing it. And we finally, we kind of dismiss, and Dee very creatively breaks down the dinette table, and I did not know that Dee could get in a yoga pose up under the dinette table to get it loose the floor. You should have been there. This was amazing. So anyway, the next thing I know is Dee's on her back. Her feet are on the underside of this table, and she's pushing. And all of a sudden, bing, it pops loose. And I have it on video, but she won't let me share it. So anyway, they go to their room at the end, you know, on the trailer tongue end of the RV. And then I've got the dynamic.
Hold on a second. You didn't tell them part. You didn't tell them the part that I said I offered to go outside and get your medicine in your truck.
You offered?
I offered to go out and get your medicine.
Yeah, you offered. But that door was not coming open. That door was not going to come open.
I was going to go out and get it. I could have shook hands with Boo on the way out.
No. See, no. Nope. I didn't want the medicine that bad.
Oh, my gosh.
So anyway, we go ahead and call it a night. And it's early. Gosh, what time was it? Like, we stayed up till probably, what, 8:30 maybe? And because we ended up just laughing and giggling and telling stories and stuff. And the whole time I'm like staring at that window. But I mean, within a couple of hours of coming in, we went to bed. I won't tell you, y'all, that's the first time in a long time that I've ever been up for 24 hours. I never slept a wink. Number one, I'm worked up. 2, I don't normally sleep laying flat because I sleep, my sofa reclines and I'm just comfortable that way. So it's been a long time since I've laid like flat. 3, obviously there is a booger outside the RV. I can't see myself getting any sleep. And trust me, when they went to their room before she left, I made her close the window and drop the shades. All the shades were closed in my little space. And I told her, I said, I don't...
Lizzie tried to leave the bathroom one open for you.
Yeah. Thanks, Lizzie. Lizzie tried to leave the bathroom window open. And I think that's so that if I had to get up and go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, the window would be open. And a booger could look in. So, that wasn't going to happen. We got that taken care of, too. But, anyway, Dee got up several times during the night, and trust me, it did not disturb me because I was awake. And we ended up talking a couple of times for about an hour or so. I mean, 2 or 3 different times, maybe 3. I know 2 for sure. And finally, about, 5:30, we're all 3 up, and we're sitting there talking. But here's the cool part, y'all. Before we had come in, Dee put a wooden flute, a $5 wooden flute, in a chair in a bag with her voice recorder. And she had moved it about, 5-6 yards away from the campfire towards that wood line that I ended up getting my video of. Okay, she moved it on further away from the RV. And I'd forgotten she had done it, but I knew she'd had the flute because she had tried to play it or something. I don't know. She had blown through it, did the finger holes, that kind of deal. And I'd kind of forgotten about it. To be honest, I had forgotten about it. I knew she had it while it was still daylight. But anyway, so it's about 5:30, I would say, wouldn't you think? About 5:30 in the morning. And Lizzie gets up because she hears us talking. And Dee's made coffee. We're just sitting there chatting. And she had opened the window at the kitchen sink, which had been closed while I was in there during the night. But she opens it up for cross ventilation. And for like a millisecond, the 3 of us had like not said a word. And all of a sudden, without a doubt, we hear the flute. We hear this, boop. And I want to tell you, I look at Dee, and she's looking at me, and I'm looking at Dee, and I start this, you heard that, right? You heard that. You heard that, right? And she goes, 3rd time tonight. What do you mean 3rd time tonight? I said, that was the flute. And I'm just like flabbergasted. They had blown on the flute. And the only reason I know it's the flute was because I heard Dee blow on the flute. And all of a sudden, louder in daylight, you hear, boop. And I'm telling you, if that had been the morning that was the end of the trip, I could have gone home happy knowing I can't prove it. Because, I mean, we're just sitting here talking. We're not recording. And all of a sudden, what breaks the silence outside is they blew someone blew the flute. And none of us got up to see, because you don't hear a thing. There's no sound outside. It was just this, we were talking, then there's like a couple of seconds we hadn't said a word, and that breaks the silence. And never heard a thing run off, nothing. And I was just so flabbergasted and excited, but it was kind of freaky to hear it blow, because you're like, I forgot it was outside. But there was no mistaking that when I heard it blow, I'm like, that's the flute. And so anyway, she said third time that night, and I didn't hear the other two because I didn't have any of my windows open. But have you had a chance to listen to your voice recorder about that time of the morning?
Oh yeah, I listened to it on the way home.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Do you have the flute on there?
Yeah, I've got the flute. I've got all 3 times the flute on it.
That's crazy. Were they as loud as that last one?
No, the very first one was so faint, which is probably why you didn't hear it. It was just like they had picked it up and kind of, it sounded more like they inhaled than they blew.
Okay.
And the second one was a little bit better, but the third one was precious.
The third one was loud. I mean, they gave it a good boo. Someone had a big...
You know that had to be one of the smaller ones.
I don't know.
They're the ones that picked up the plastic ones. They picked up the plastic ones and bit one ends off. That's why I had to get a wooden one. I didn't want to get hurt.
Whoever blew on it had a full set of air in their lungs, because I'm telling you, they laid down on the horn on that one, and it was really loud. And now I kind of want to go on outside, but Dee's like, no, let's just give it a little bit, because, you know, what'd you call it? It's still predator hour or something like that. Which, you know, you use the word predator around me, and I'm just gonna stay put. So that was pretty cool.
When it's twilight and when it's dawn and dusk is when your predators are out, and they're pretty active. So I don't let Lizzie go out there. I'll go out there, but I won't let Lizzie out there that time of morning or night.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, that was crazy, and that was not one morning one. And then, you know, we just kind of poked around out it was a beautiful day. I droned the first day that I got there, and then I droned again on this second day, which was Tuesday of this week. And had great weather for it. It was beautiful. We saw a large, it was 2 large trees, and it's in the video. If you watch the video on my YouTube channel called The Mountains Are Calling, you'll see the large X from the air. And what that is just 2 large dead trees that have been placed in an X formation. And my goodness, you could probably see that from space. But that was cool. And it was disappointing because I had 2 segments of 8 minutes of video that it recorded, but when I tried to upload it to actually use the video, the file came back as it wasn't there. And I don't understand that, because I could see it on the computer, but I can't use it, and I don't get that. So it was pretty disappointing. So I had to use my cell phone to video the video just to get the X in the Mountains Are Calling video. So
tell them about your battery on your camera.
That was that the final morning? Or was it that night?
It was that night when you said it was a full battery, and it wasn't.
Well,
and the next morning when you filmed again.
I can't remember when I changed it out. I can't remember if it was nighttime But anyway, I was getting down to like, I think my camera shows 4 bars for full battery. So I was getting down to like 2 bars, and so I thought, I'm gonna go ahead and change out my battery and just have a full battery, because I knew the second battery was full. It was fully charged. How long did I have it on my camera?
Not very long.
Not very long, and all of a sudden I have one bar of battery. And I can't remember, was it when we got over there to the wood line after that night?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of a sudden I have 1 bar of battery, and I'm like, that's impossible. This was a full battery, because I was so excited, because I saw it with my own eyes. I had 4 bars, and all of a sudden I had 1 bar, and I'm like,
that's what people say all the time about their cameras. The battery's draining on their cameras, and it happens to me all the time. Like I said, with I had my camcorder out that night. I stuck it out when I had that face-to-face.
right,
Put it out on the steps, and you have to open it. You have to open that slide thing out.
yeah,
For the camera
right,
to record. And I had opened it, stuck it outside. Pressed the button, stuck it outside, and then slammed the door real quick and locked it, and jumped in my bed. And then the next morning when I went out there, it was closed and off, and then when I turned it on, it was 5 minutes of recording, and something actually shut the camera.
yeah.
So they don't like cameras much, but I told you that.
Well,
That a lot of people say the same thing, that they take their cameras out full batteries, and they're dead.
yeah. Well, I was just, I only have 2 batteries for that Sony, because I'm never anywhere that I can't charge my battery. So I knew 2 batteries would get me through 2.5 days. And I can get a lot done on 1 battery. So the second was just really kind of a last resort. But I wanted to be on the safe side, because I wasn't sure what all we were going to do. Man, I can't remember when I changed that out, if it was that morning.
No, it was the night.
I changed it.
Remember,
Did I change the battery out?
Night 2 is when you saw Boo.
Right. Is that when I changed the battery out? Okay.
Yeah. Boo was there.
Well, let me tell you, y'all. If you haven't checked out the video on my channel called Being Watched from the Woods, you need to watch that one. I'm feeling a little more confident the second night as it's getting to dark time, but it's still just going to be a repeat of pitch black. But I've had 24 hours on the property, and so it was getting dusky dark. Now, mind you, the wood line that we're talking about is the RVs at our back, just like where my flag is at. Campfires out in front of us, and then go about 30 yards, and that's this wood line. I don't know, I keep looking over here. I need to look over here. Anyway, and that's the wood line, and what happens is, behind that wood line, it begins to slope, and it goes down to a wide creek, okay? And it's only going to be flat for just a little bit, and then that descent's going to start to happen. And you'll see it on the video. The mountains are calling. You'll see that. But anyway, I had been tooting around with my camera, because here's my camera, but the IR is out in my truck. But my camera, if you have a video camera like right here, I don't know if it's showing up, but anyway, right here I have night vision capability. Okay, this has night shot on it. So if your camera has night shot, and I've got a hot shoe on top, you can attach an infrared light, and what that's going to do is that's going to give you more reach, because if you're just going to try to use night shot in the pitch black environment that I was in, it won't work. Night shot alone on your camera will only work if you've got some ambient light around you. Then you can, then it just kind of works there. Using the infrared light, the IR system allows you to see in the dark, okay? So I had been tooting around with it a little bit, But I'm not paying Dee any attention because she's not videoing. Nobody, none of us are using a flashlight or a spotlight, nothing. We just have the light from the fire, okay? And I notice from time to time, Dee's just kind of in her own little world and she's just watching, okay? Because Dee has 2-3 years of practice of doing this out there on this property. Now, I'm a little more paranoid, so I would prefer to use my IR, okay? And I remember, and I can't remember if you were standing up, Dee, or if you had sat back down, but when you started, I know you were sitting down when you told me you need to start, if I were you, I would start videoing over here, and you're pointing to that area that I ended up recording at. But tell our friends out here what you saw that led you to tell me to start recording.
Well, I'm used to, my eyes are used to the night. I don't use any IR lights. I don't use any, I don't use flashlights. I don't use anything like that. My eyes get adjusted to the dark because I watch them all night long. I don't go to sleep, and not until morning. But anyway, and I'm sitting there, and there is a little bit of ambient light on the backside towards that river down there.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a light from a cabin that is over a mile away, but it doesn't look that far away.
Was that the green? Was that that green light? Yeah.
And I know where to look, because if you don't know what you're looking at, that definitely looks like eye shine, but it's not.
Right.
Anyway, so I can see between the trees, and I know where each one of the trees are. So, sorry. I just got over pneumonia.
Uh-oh.
Anyway, so I'm watching the tree line, and all of a sudden one of the trees kind of just grows. It's just wide. And I kind of cock my head a little bit, and I look, and I'm waiting for movement. So just like when we did the reenactment of Boo with Sandy, I looked away for a little bit, and I looked back. And when I looked back, it was gone. So that's when I said to you, you might want to turn your camera on that direction.
Right.
Because I knew he was standing there.
Right.
I knew he was standing there because the tree was, about 1.5 times bigger, than a normal tree.
Right.
And I think that tree, when we measured that tree last time, the big one in that corner, because I wanted it for reference, was 13 inches just straight across.
Okay.
Okay, so that's that one big tree.
Okay.
Anyway, so I had you look in that direction because I had seen movements, and I knew that he must have been standing over there. And then that's when all that meltdown started with you, where you got freaked out. What? Just
okay.
Out. Just show. You can't point it out. You can't point it out because when it's one thing if I look over there and look away because I'm being subtle, as opposed to me pointing in that direction and say, hey, look over there. So he's just gonna fall to the ground or something. He ain't gonna see squat, but that was my way of trying to teach you how to subtly, because if you pan and he sits still, you may capture him on yours, but if he doesn't move, you're not going to see him, and that's the way they are.
Okay, so for the listeners, let me back this up a minute. Dee knows where I'm going with this. She starts telling me to start videoing over here, okay? Because we're just kind of looking forward, and she's telling me I need to start over here. The cop in me, okay? The cop in me, I'm sitting there with my camera. I'm sitting here like this going, my thing's out, and I'm going, well, where? Where do I need to? And she's like, I'm not going to tell you where. And I'm like, and I still got my camera going. I'm going, well, just tell me where, because as a police officer, we like specifics, okay? And so it's not like we go, hey, over there is the murder suspect, and it's just over there if you want him, okay? So I'm sitting here like this, and I'm going, well, where, Dee? And she's like, I'm not going to tell you. And we I call it bickering, but what it really is I'm starting to have a meltdown. I'm having a meltdown because I realize, oh, something must be over there for her to tell me I need to start videoing over there.
Oh, no.
Whatever.
That's not it. No.
Yes, it
you
was.
had a meltdown because you didn't get your way.
Whatever. So I'm sitting here having a whiny fit. And I mean, we're just like, because Dee's just sitting right here beside me in her chair. And we're doing this back and forth. And we got kind of loud. But that's just how we are. And we're not mad at each other. But I'm pinching a fit because I'm like, well, just tell me specifically where to point the camera. And I will put the camera there. Don't give me this general broad area. And, I got to just figure it out. Because I'm starting to get a little amped up because I know that obviously there's a reason she wants me to start pointing my camera over there and record. And so, we're doing this yan, back and forth. And we weren't quiet either, okay? And so, anyway, I'm recording and I'm doing a slow pan because this is literally just at the reach of what the IR can do, okay? Because now when this whole thing kind of started, it was dusky dark. I could see the wood line. I couldn't see into the woods. But by the time I'm recording, it's dark. I mean, it just kind of happened pretty quick. And so we're talking like, what, less than 10 minutes maybe? And, it got dark pretty quick. And so anyway, that's when, if you watch the video, I'm panning real slow, and I realize that it has a little grainy effect to it, and it's not going to be as super clear as if this was daylight. And
Plus your hands are shaking.
My hands were not shaking.
You were shaking because you were mad.
Well, that may be true, but I wasn't shaking because I was scared. But anyway, so anyway, I'm panning, and when I get to this thing, it's not clicking that there's a head, there's shoulders. I just see this really broad, wide thing sitting there, and I kind of I focus on it, and then I kind of move away, but it's got my attention. And I don't say anything. Or do I have you look at it while I'm still filming? Or no, I had you look at it the next morning. But anyway, the length of that video alone is only 3 minutes, okay? Because I'm getting irritated. I don't know if I have found it. Because you got to remember, I'm only looking through an LCD screen this big, okay? That's it. It's only this big. So I can't tell exactly what I'm looking at.
Well.
Stop it. So anyway, it's not too much longer that Dee goes, oh, I almost forgot. We've been focusing on this, okay? And our back's to the RV. So to my right is going down the side of the RV, and then that's the tail end of the RV. All of a sudden, very distinctly, couldn't have been 15 yards, I hear very obvious movement. It didn't sound like a dog walking, because we heard that because Sandy had her dogs with her. But the cool part was, wasn't cool. Her youngest dog, that's still a puppy, less than 8 months old, their behavior starts changing. And Sarge suddenly goes, whoo, whoo. And he's looking that way. Something's up. But we're hearing the movement, okay? And Dee's looking that way. And so I used my IR again, and now I've got it held up just sitting in my chair. And I need to see if there's something out there. Because we're, really at this point, we're not really worried about the boogers. We're worried about the mountain cat. Could be a bear. I mean, there's other things out there. But that was a distinctive, I have no doubt in my mind, can't prove it, but I have no doubt in my mind that was another Bigfoot creeping up to get as close as it could. That was my first thought. It just didn't have that sound like it was a domesticated animal of some type to that region.
So what happened?
You know?
What did Sandy do? What did Sandy do right after that?
Sandy got up and left. Sandy was gone.
Yep.
And
Yep.
but her dogs had alerted, and her dogs became very uncomfortable. They got really nervous, and they did. I know SARS did that. Oof, oof. And he was.
Well, here's the deal. This is why Sandy can't hear very well. So her dogs will alert her in the cabin when she's at night. So if her dogs do that little woof stuff, there's something out there.
Yeah.
If they start barking, it's predatory. You know, it's either a cat or a bobcat or, you know, maybe a bear or something like that, or a person. But with the Sasquatch up there, what happens is they just do that little woof sound, and that tells her what it is.
Yeah.
She's not alerted when they start barking, except for she's paying attention now. But when they start doing that woof stuff, and it's nighttime, she's gone.
Yeah. Yeah, she was, it wasn't long after that. She knew, she had to walk over to her truck, which wasn't that close to us. So, I'm sure she's probably more used to, probably parking where I had parked, you know, but she had a
No,
look.
she parks down there all the time.
Really?
Usually I take a flashlight out and walk her to her truck.
Yeah, I mean, she was probably a good 20, 25 yards away, and I'm like, I don't think I reacted, though. I don't think I really said much when I was videoing, and I actually captured what I captured. I don't think I said anything. I don't think I really reacted to it. That's what's kind of weird.
It's because your eyes didn't realize what you were seeing until you saw it later on. Like I said, everything's different when you're out there. It's one thing looking at a screen, like when you go ahead and you post it. It's one thing looking at it like that.
Yeah.
It's completely different. It's completely different when you're looking through your little, lens.
Yeah.
And then it's completely different when you're looking at it without a YouTube video or a lens.
Well,
there's three different shock levels, I think, is what I'm going to say.
I don't even know if I was in shock. I think I was just trying to figure out, is this what she saw? Because you never said I saw something standing up, because when my camera captures what it captures, it's squatting down. It's kind of sitting on its haunches like a big gorilla. And so...
Yeah, that's how they sit. Their legs are spread.
Oh, yeah.
Their hands are down in front of them.
Yeah. Well, I could tell when I froze the video on my computer, I can see his left arm. I can see, he just literally looks like he's just chilling and people watching. And I can see his arm come down, and then you know how everybody's arm like this? I could see this part of it, his left arm. And it's huge, y'all. It's huge. And if you don't believe me, watch the video. And actually, I have videoed the video, and it's even lighter on my phone, and it's even a whole lot easier to see. But, so anyway, we took it into the RV that night after we started hearing that movement and stuff. And that really surprised me that it didn't really freak me out that I heard the movement so close. I think I handled that relatively well, considering we couldn't see what was making the noise, but it was coming from where it was coming from. It was actually not loud, but it was very discernible. And I didn't jump up and run or anything, but I was surprised I handled that as good as I did.
Well, you did, but that's why I said it doesn't matter what time it is at night. The smartest thing to do is, if you want interaction with them, you go inside when it gets dark, especially. And I'll sit out there. We've sat out there till midnight, and they didn't come up yet.
Yeah.
And I'll sit out there until I hear them start walking up. When I hear them start walking up, they're ready to do whatever they want to do, whether they want to play or, or goof around with us or something, or jump on the front steps. Whatever they want to do, once you hear them start walking or you see eyes shine, it's time to go in. I don't care what time it is.
See, I never heard walking other than I heard that movement. And it was really close. I mean, it was really close.
Yeah.
It was, I'm giving it 15 yards. And that's close to 21. If you're in band, that's going to be around 18 to 20 marching steps. It's not that far. And it's in the dark. And so, but anyway, we went in the RV and I told Dee, I said, I don't care to hear anything or see anything tonight. I just want to sleep because I just hadn't slept. I tried to take a cat nap in my truck because Dee took a nap, and then I tried to take a nap, and I turned my truck on, reclined my seat back because I needed to recline. I knew I couldn't lay flat again. That wasn't going to work. Just for a little nap, and so here we get back to the nighttime again, and I'm like, I'm tired. So I took my Ambien, I think I took a pain pill, and I'm like out. I mean, I probably, somewhere between 7:30 and 8, I crashed. You put that extra little mattress or the pad on the bed, and I'm done. I was done. And I slept solid till what, maybe 2:30. I knew you said you got up, and I was snoring. And that's how you know I'm really tired, is when I really break out the snore machine. When I'm sick and when I'm really, really tired, I snore. And
yeah, well, you just brought the boogers in by snoring, because they like.
Now, what did they do while I slept?
But Lizzie and I sat there for quite a while. Her leg was hurting her by that time pretty bad.
Right.
And but she couldn't sleep. And she was doing that all night long. Grandma, did you hear that? Grandma, did you hear that?
Really?
And I said, I kept going, shh, because between your snoring and her whimpering, I wasn't sure of the noises that were outside, but I knew they were in the front, not the back, like they normally do, because that's when I can interact with them in the back. I'm too far away from the other side. Look at you giggling. You think that's funny, huh? Anyway, but they love to go either to one side or the other. It's abnormal if they're on both sides.
At least it's your side and not where I was at.
Well, yeah. I like it when they're on my side because they're closer and I can hear the babies running around or whatever. But I haven't heard any babies, so I don't know what's up with that yet.
Well,
but,
apparently a young one visited during that first night because you found the track. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that was about 3 yards from that window that I was sleeping in front of.
Yeah, that's what Lizzie and I were looking at.
Yeah. Not one when they're like, just come over here and look out the window. No. And then there's a track about 3 yards outside that window.
But did you or did you not say you wanted to see one?
I said I wanted to see one on my terms. That wasn't in the calculations.
Okay, yeah, but it wasn't in writing, so, hey.
It was spoken word. And so I'm
You guys would have laughed so hard had you been there, because I'm telling you, this young lady had a meltdown. Every time we opened the window.
Oh, I was freaking out.
She was freaking out because she thought they were going to come in there and grab you or something.
Well,
you
know the thing.
I told her, I said, I've been doing this for 3 years, and then add the other year of home nubbing before the RV. We were in tent.
Oh no!
So, we've been doing this for quite a while, and they wanted to hurt us. They had done it a long time ago.
Yeah, but there's always a new one born every year, so I could not have managed and held it together if we'd have slept in tents. I wouldn't have done it. I couldn't have done it. There ain't no way. No.
Why?
It's the vulnerability that there was nothing that was going to help me if I was in a tent.
Next time you come up, we're sleeping in tents.
Bull corn. Full corn ain't happening. I may as well sleep in my truck and just put newspapers all up in the windows.
Hey, go ahead. Sleep in your truck. That's even better.
No.
You're gonna like that.
No.
You'll be having fingerprints on yours, just like like Pam had on hers.
No, nope, ain't happening. If I had
Why?
to, no.
Hey, look.
I don't
just
need
like
to
you
be
always
that
have
one. I don't need to be that one with nature.
that-
It'd be different if we were in a coyote habitat and I knew that they weren't going to get in my truck. You know?
Oh, my goodness. For crying out loud.
And we
I'm
heard
telling
coyotes. That was the first night, wasn't it?
you. Yeah, that was my one.
Yeah, not one. Coyotes were busy out there. And I could hear a plane fly over. Do what?
Well, before the coyote.
What about the coyote?
The
What do you mean
howl
before?
the coyote. Yeah, that's what you can. That's what you go by. You always hear the first one get them started, and then they go crazy. But you don't hear the howls and the hoops and stuff at my property like you do at Rick's. They don't.
Yeah.
They just don't do that there. You know, they'll howl with the coyotes. You can always tell the difference, or they'll hoot like an owl, and you'll hear that, or they'll try to imitate that stupid whippoorwill, which they sound absolutely ridiculous. And you can tell the difference. But they don't do the things that they do at Rick's. They're completely different.
Well, I'll tell you, I had thought about that later, that I never heard a vocal that it was waiting for, you know. I mean, you know, that you hear in some of these other videos. I say everybody else's, but a lot of these other videos. And I never heard a wood knock. There was like no wood knock, no tree break. Some of the sounds that I thought may happen. Now, I'm telling you, if I heard a hard whack of a wood knock on night one, I think that would have done me in too. Because
they don't do that there. They don't do that there. And like I said, I don't know why, but they just don't. Maybe there's not another clan for far enough away, or I couldn't tell you. I couldn't begin to.
I don't know why either, but I'm gonna tell you, the longer I have thought about how I'm assuming that's a he, because if not, that's a really big female. But
oh, that's Boo. That's Boo. That's how big he is.
Now
you know why when we did the recreation, I told you he took up those 3 trees. That's how wide he is.
Yeah, yeah. He literally, people, I know this may be hard for you to imagine. He had to be no less than 4 feet across the shoulders.
I know he was bigger than my window. I know he was.
She ain't lying. I'm telling you. And I'm trying to upload a video, but Dee wants to see it first. It's 14 minutes long. And it's all the bits, I call it the bits and pieces now of what's just left over that I haven't put out there yet. And it's the silly stuff. We're laughing. I'm filming the ladybugs that are, well, they're not ladybugs. They were the Japanese something and others. But
yeah, Japanese, yeah. Did you get that one? Did you get the one of Lizzie with the thing in her hair?
That was on my cell phone.
Oh,
I posted I posted that in the
terrible.
group. I posted that in the group.
That was actually funny.
Oh man.
I don't think from the time we've been there till that, I don't think we laughed that hard. None of us could compose ourselves that day. The look on Lizzie's, yeah, Asian Beetle. Yeah, the look on Lizzie's face was priceless because she just about had it.
Asian Beetles, yeah.
She was tired of the pain, and then she gets that thing stuck in her hair. Oh, and then Lisa decides to throw it at me. You know,
no, I didn't. You are making this up.
Don't you lie. Don't you dare lie.
You are stretching this one out. I did not throw that. I tried to hand you one.
Oh, no.
What'd you do? Throw your body into it or something?
The one that was in Lizzie's hair.
That was hilarious. I didn't throw that at anybody. Dee threw it at me, and it stuck on my arm. And I like to have never gotten that crap off my arms. But that was just so funny. I mean, Lizzie's up there on the countertop, and Lizzie has long hair, and every time she'd lean over, you know, a big thing of hair went forward. And before I knew it, and I don't know what I was doing. I must have been looking away. And I can't believe I wasn't even videoing this from the beginning. But all of a sudden, this entire fly strip is stuck in Lizzie's hair. and it won't come out. And me and Dee are about to wet her pants laughing. And of course, Lizzie's like, having a cow because she wants it out. And Dee's tugging on it. And I mean, we just erupted in laughter. And then finally it dawns on me to video it. And so that's what I posted in the group chat. But
you should have, you should have posted all those stupid bugs. That whole RV, there must have been 10,000 bugs between the outside. They were swarming around like if you threw something dead out there and the flies were all over it. That whole RV was covered with a stupid thing.
Oh man, hundreds. Well,
then,
I would have
to
to say.
Lisa said,
huh?
Yeah, then Lisa said, she said, we're better off inside. Even if there's some inside, we're still better off in there. Because she was covering her head with anything she could cover her head with because they were flying, her eyes.
I had taken my hoodie. I took my hoodie and put it over my head, the whole sweatshirt, and all you saw was like this. Because they were flying into our ears. I had one run up my nose.
Oh my gosh.
They were everywhere. I mean, you couldn't get away from them. And man, that was nuts. And then I was like, I'm just gonna go sit in the RV. And they were all in there too. But it wasn't as bad because they would go to the ceiling and just kind of, once they got inside, they were just kind of crawling. And I can deal with that, that way they're not just flying up your nose or something. So I suggested that you get some fly strips. You ended up finding some. And those things are hard to pull and unravel, get it undone. And boy, I never would have seen that coming, that going in her hair. That was hilarious. But we had a good time, and I mean, I'm already antsy to go back, because the thing is I've got to conquer or get a better handle on the anxiousness that the pitch darkness brought to me. And that was my very first time. And so that's like,
next time I'll send you out to get all the stuff to put on the fire when it's pitch black out there.
We're gonna be cold. I'm just gonna tell you now. You better bring a blanket.
You have to overcome your fear.
Well, it don't mean I'm gonna go pick up firewood sticks in the middle of the night. It ain't happening.
Yeah. I do it.
Oh, there's a big difference between me and you.
Like I said, they won't hurt you.
I don't want to know.
You do want to know. Now you want to go back.
Oh, I want to go back, but it don't mean I want to be out there picking up tiddlywinks next to them. Excuse me. I'm sorry, Boo. Can you move over? I'd like to have that little stick there. Can you move your big rear end? In fact, can you just snap me off a tree and then whittle it on down to firewood for me? But
can you imagine you walking out into the dark with your hand stretched out and Boo, go ahead and touch my hand?
No, I can't, because it ain't gonna happen. That's not even a thought in my mind. I don't have thoughts like that, Dee. Touch me. Pull. Hey, Boo, pull my finger. Boo, pull my finger. No, ain't happening. No. I can't believe it, y'all. I literally like to have lost my mind when she's going, can y'all touch my hand? Oh, my gosh. I was like slapping the table going, would you knock it off? Stop it.
Because that's all she said the whole time she was there. Stop it. Oh, and she kept calling me Sandy. Like she doesn't know my name is Dee.
I know. Sandy really messed that up. And I mean, all of a sudden, I'm calling you, and I'd go, Sandy, look at this. And Sandy would come up, I'm like, no, I meant Dee. Sandy, you can come over and look, but I meant Dee. Do what?
Oh, my goodness.
You've
been calling me Dee for how long now?
I know.
And then you turn around and start calling me Sandy?
I know. Well, and then I'd call you Grandy for Grandma and Dee. Grandy. But
well,
anyway.
I turn around, hey, when Lisa was sitting on the couch, and we were sitting at the table. I told her to open the window behind her. She goes, she wasn't. That girl wasn't going to open any window in the entire RV.
I was not
every
going.
Window closed. Every blind closed. She even told me in the middle of the night. She goes, "You can come out here." She goes, "If you want to come out here, we can sit for a while." She goes, "You can even smoke if you want."
You can smoke. You can do it. You can do whatever you want to do. But I'm not, because see, when Dee came out, like, and would make coffee or whatever, because she's got crazy awake and sleep time hours. But I had already moved over to a little love seat thing, but I had the window blind shut on that too. But she would open up the 4-foot window and smoke, and I'm like, and she's like, "Don't you want to open that window?" Nope. Not behind me. And little did I know, she had opened the one by the kitchen sink, which is now the one that's straight across from me, and I didn't realize that, and I'm having a stroke. I'm like, have you lost your mind? Close that window. I don't need anything to just kind of pass in front of that window and then stop and just like hang its face right there. That would be more.
Yeah, can you imagine? Because you can see the light from the campfire out that kitchen window. It's a tiny kitchen window. It's real little.
Yeah.
So you got that window open, and now can you imagine it going total black and you're not seeing anything?
No.
And then me saying, "Hey, Boo's right there."
No.
Right at the window.
I don't need Boo to squat down so he can get a better looky in the window. I don't need that. Because I'm telling you.
I can imagine if you'd have done that.
Oh.
If you'd have done that behind you when your window behind you was open.
No. That'd been the end of it. Boo don't need to come that close.
Oh,
I'm happy. I'm happy I got him from 35 yards away in the dark. And he sat there like a good boy.
He didn't rock or anything, did he?
No. Now that would have been some bonus. Get out, my cat's bugging me. That would have been some bonus footage if he would have just sitting there. If he'd have just done this, oh man, that would have been awesome. That would have removed all doubt that it was questionably a stump. Is questionably a word? If it was a stump or whatever, but that was a stump with a head and shoulders. And I'm telling you, it may not look that big on the video, but when I was looking at it on the LCD screen of my camera, he was huge. And I was so flabbergasted at the size. And then when I put that little recreation on the tail end of the night shot video, Dee was either at the tree that she saw him at, but it dawned on me later that she wasn't at the tree that he was squatting next to. And we found that tree, and that's when we were out there the final morning, Wednesday morning, and she's at the right tree, and I posted that in a video. I think I said something about maybe Wednesday morning. I can't remember what the name of the video is, but then she's at the right tree, and there ain't nothing out there that looks like that. And I think I even did a side-by-side, because in the daytime, or it was just starting to get around like 4 o'clock or something, I had been panning that area. So I took a screenshot on my phone of that tree, and then with him in front of it, or where he was, and ain't nothing there. So pretty cool stuff.
The tree I was at was the tree that he was standing at, and then when he moved, I'm the one I saw the movement. That's why I had you pan that direction, because he went from the one tree, well, 3 trees, to the other solid tree on the other side of it. And I just smiled because I could see the movement, but you hadn't seen it yet. But I didn't want to freak you out, so that's why I just had you pan.
I don't think I could have seen it with my eyes. I think it was just dark enough that I don't think I could have seen him because it was already hard enough to see into the woods. Because the only thing that was still visible enough to me was the tree line on the perimeter of it.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Remember before you came out, we had a conversation. I told you the reason I don't have any of that stuff is because I get good interaction with them without it.
Yeah.
And your eyes get adjusted to that kind of night, and with a very little bit of ambient light, you can see things like nobody's business. If somebody, like in Rick's, you had to slow his down before you saw that booger walk right across that screen.
Yeah.
Well, these guys are fast, but if you train your eyes to watch for movement only, then you're going to pick them up, and you don't need a flashlight. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
I see much better with no light if I'm sitting out there. I mean, it's a bonus if you have a moon, but like I did with the well, I call a small one at the window. He wasn't that small, but you know, with the one at the window, if there wasn't the moonlight behind it, I don't think I'd have seen him exact the way I did. And when you were there, we didn't really have a moon. So if
We
you
had
had
no
not
moon.
used that night, if you had not used that IR light and you had just let your eyes with your glasses on get adjusted to the dark, you'd have seen a lot more. You'd have seen the eye shine, you'd have seen the movement, you'd have seen all that. But you were with the camera and you were also nervous. So
Yes,
you know,
I was. But see, I wanted
What?
to have something recorded, not just see it. But I needed something to go home with that I could look back on, and not just have
Well,
it
yeah,
as
that's
a
why-
memory.
Which is why I said that the weekend was yours those 3 days were yours for, camcording.
Yeah.
I didn't.
I will say, if anybody else out there listening has a chance to go out to her property, watch out for the rocks. Those rocks are hiding under leaf litter, and I mean, they'll trip you up. And so, I kind of knew that I wasn't going to go walking far off because, number one, I can't. My knees aren't good. I already knew there was a rock issue out there. Excuse me. But it took me a while, and when we got behind the RV, I mean, like on the window side, the window side that was at the woods, to navigate around, because it wasn't just the rocks that were the problem, it was those weeds, because it was like getting tripped on a piece of twine or something. So I mean, there was plenty to get you tripped up. So
Yeah. That's why I'm constantly following on my videos, because there's so many things that trip you up.
yeah.
You don't see the rocks, and that's the hard part. With
No.
all the leaf litter, you don't see the rocks.
No.
And so you go to step up, and next thing you know, that rock goes tumbling, and you go with it.
Yeah, I mean,
I kind of shuffle my feet.
you
But
can't.
that print that I pointed out, the small one that wasn't very heavy,
Right.
it was definitely a little one. You saw it was about the size of my hand, so
Yeah.
it couldn't have been that big. And he or she barely put any pressure, so they
No.
weren't that big. But you could clearly see between the toes, and that wasn't. Lizzie doesn't walk around barefoot out there.
No.
Nobody walks barefoot out there. There's too many critters.
And it was
there's-
kind of wide for a small track, but I mean, when you two saw whatever it was, night one, outside the window, how big was that?
It wasn't. Remember, I told her to look lower to the ground.
I know it was
small.
low to the ground, but I mean, if you had to take a wild guess, I mean, how big was it?
Maybe 3 foot, maybe.
3 foot?
Yes.
Oh, that's just creepy.
Why? One of the
A
little ones.
Okay, that's like a little troll.
That's what I call them. That's what they sound like too.
Okay, that's just creepy.
Why is it creepy?
I don't know. That kind of creeps me out.
They have to start out small to get big.
Well, I realize that. But
Okay,
that's just
well,
kind of creepy, because that means that little turd could get up under the RV.
Oh yeah. come up
Oh,
through
yeah.
that little hole.
That's in your room. That's creepy. And y'all
Uh,
wanted me to stick my face over there and look. You lost your mind.
yeah. No, it was a
No.
baby, so you wouldn't have freaked out about baby. What's the matter
Whatever.
with you?
What's
Oh
the
my
matter
God.
with me?
Anyway,
What's the matter with you?
Pam, you would have had a ball out there. I mean, you would have absolutely had a ball out there. I know you saw some stuff at Rick's, and we'd like to hear more of that. So you got to do a live with Rick and tell us everything you saw and that kind of stuff. But
Yeah, she does.
they're completely different at my place than they are at Rick's. Rick's got some little rugrats around there. I mean,
Turds.
they like to do all kinds of stuff, but mine aren't that way. Now, when Lizzie's with me, they're used to Lizzie being with me, and I think the little ones are, drawn to her. So, and we always, Lizzie and I, without Lisa there or anybody else there, Lizzie and I always sit by that window at night, and we put our hands up to the window and we talk to them.
No.
And yes, and one of these days when you come back up there, as long as you don't use all your equipment and you're just sitting there quiet, I'll keep the blind down but the window open, and then you can hear them talk.
Well, I'd want to record that.
No, you're not going to record it. My point is, you can put the recorder outside like I did, and I had plenty of recordings, and like I said, with that one that audio recorder I had, it wouldn't let me upload it or share it or MP3 it. It wouldn't let me do anything.
Yeah.
But the new one that I have, I can plug that right in, and with the new computer I have, it will let me upload them, which I haven't done yet.
Right.
But you can, if I put my audio up here, because I'm not good at that tech stuff as far as cutting it down. I don't know how to use that program. Mm-hmm. But I have probably 96 hours of audio. And in a lot of the audio, you can hear them throwing little pebbles to knock my recorder down off the back of my truck. You can hear them playing with a generator. Oh yeah, I saw that, Pam. But you can hear them talking. It sounds like two old men having a conversation, but you don't understand what they're saying. But they're close enough where you can hear them talking. And it doesn't sound like samurai chatter. It kind of sounds like two old men talking. So, and then when the babies go at it, they go at it. I mean, boy, they make more noise, and it is kind of, it's more unnerving to me when the babies make noise, because I know mom's close by, and sometimes they get a little rough with each other. So when you hear that, you're not sure of exactly what it is. Your senses are heightened,
right,
and you're listening intently. And when they start growling and gurgling and making all these noises, you're like, what in the heck? I just want to see it, but you're not going to see them. You'll see shadows or whatever, but you're not going to point blank see them. Mom's
That's crazy.
But the big ones, especially Boo, when Liz and I have been out, we've heard that noise before,
really?
Plenty of times. It just sounds like a small grunt, but he's just letting us know he's close by.
Yeah.
So that would probably freak you out too. But it takes some time to get out there, and that's why I offered you to come to my property, because they aren't like a lot of other people's properties. They are very subtle.
Yeah.
They're quiet. They want to be left alone. When they want to interact, they interact.
Yeah.
If they don't want to interact with you, they're not going to show up. And if I do something wrong, they don't show up for weeks.
Wow.
So I do the same thing. I have a routine, and that routine. I do it every single time I'm there.
Yeah.
I do the same thing, and so that's why I tell people when they come up, you got to do exactly what I tell you to do. Otherwise, you're not going to get the same interactions that I get.
Right. Well, I was quite okay with Boo being way over there, and because the more that I've reflected on it since I've been home, I never felt afraid. Now I was a little anxious. I mean, because I knew that obviously something's going on, and that's why you're needing me to start recording. But as far as a fear, I didn't feel afraid once when I kept videoing on that spot, trying to figure out in my mind, what am I looking at? I wasn't afraid. I didn't feel fear. And the more that I have rewatched it and rewatched it and rewatched it, um, he was just sitting there. He was people watching, and we were giving him a show with our me, back and forth
Yep.
with the, just specifically tell me where it's at, because we were being loud. And
Yeah.
I sat. I mean,
Well, remember, Lizzie's loud. Lizzie's loud.
Lizzie-
We laughed. We giggled.
Lizzie's loud. I mean, we were kind of just a little loud prior to it getting dark. And
Yeah.
I sat there and I have watched that over and over and over again. And I've thought, I wonder what he's thinking about. I wonder if he's thinking, I wonder what these two biddies are talking about. Because we're squabbling. We're having our own version of samurai chatter going on up there. And he's just, being a dude sitting there watching us. People, I'm telling you, he never made a sound. He sat there like a little Buddha statue, never moved. And if it wasn't for the fact that I was told to start videoing, I just wouldn't have known he was there. And if you'll go back over the video, and if you need to, take your cell phone. I have an iPhone, but hold your phone like you want to video it. Video the video. Sorry, y'all. Ooh-wee. But it was even lighter through my phone, and I can see his arm, and I mean, I can see his arm. I'm not exaggerating. It looks like somebody's thigh. And I can see it. I can see the faint outline of his arm. As it comes off his shoulder, it comes down, and then it crooks, because he's just relaxed. He's just sitting there on his haunches, apparently, just watching. He didn't do anything that could have justified shooting and killing him. He didn't make any noise. I mean, he wasn't doing anything different than someone just sitting on a park bench taking in what's going on around him.
Right. You never had anything thrown at you.
No.
You didn't get growled at. You didn't get grunted at. You didn't get bluff charged. I mean, like David, when he was up there, David got bluff charged, but David showed a lot of fear, especially after that snake incident, but he showed a lot of fear. And when he did, Boo had a field day with him.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely had a field day with him, because he peeked out around a tree when David was peeing behind the RV, which I told him he wasn't allowed to do that.
Right.
And then when we went walking, David wanted to see that structure I told you that was off that cliff, going down towards the water.
Right.
And so I said, well, why don't we just wait until tomorrow, because if we go tonight, it's kind of close to getting dark. It's not a good idea. And he goes, well, just let me see where it's at. And I said, all right. We went walking over there, and the first thing Boo did was go charging. I mean, it sounded like Boo wasn't any further away than like 10 feet, because he came crashing through. And David stood straight up like an arrow and went, oh my gosh. And I started laughing. I said, well, you asked for it. And then we turned around and went back.
Right.
We didn't even end up going down there. So he didn't do any of that with you, because you told them point blank when you sat out there.
I told him.
You were nervous.
I was scared.
Right.
I told him, I said, I'm scared.
Which is why I take people to that gifting area and have them stand out there and either say something or don't.
Yeah.
Either introduce yourself, and they pick up how you are.
Yeah.
And you flat out told me you were scared, and not once did they scare you.
I told him I was scared when I was sitting there with you. When I was at the gifting area, I was just talking to my phone about, Dee's introduced me and she wants me to just stand here. And I didn't talk to them, but on morning 2, when y'all went mushrooming, and I sat by myself for a little bit in that area of the gifting. I think I was closer to the big tree X. That's when I was like, Boo, are you out there, buddy? You know, I was a little scared last night. And, I mean, I thought, anybody who might be watching that may think that I'm nuts, but I'm like, what have I got to lose? I know he's out there. Now I hadn't captured him on video yet, did I? I don't know. That was day 2.
No.
That was okay. So that was still yet to come, but I know that he's out there somewhere, and so I just but when did I say it out loud that I was scared that night? Was it the first night or the second night?
The first night you said you did tell them that you were scared, and the second night you said it again. But the first night you did tell them that you were nervous. You did say, I'm a little nervous. I'm not too. I don't know about this, but
I did.
You did say that. But the second night you did. Yeah.
Second night is when I got that on video, and then we hear that movement. But yeah, I think it was night 1 that I said. I asked you. I said, "You mind if I say something to him?" And I just said it out loud. I just said, hey, guy, I am nervous. I'm a little scared. Something to that effect. I had no problem saying it either. Whether they understand.
But that's what they like. But that's what they like, and that's what I'm saying. That's what they like, and that's the way that they are. They'll choose whether they want to come out or not. If they don't like you, they're not coming around.
Well,
remember I told you, I was really shocked at that guy. I was really shocked when that guy was there. Because all he did was basically make fun of me and Denny and, basically call us liars. But yet they showed him. Even though they didn't like him or trust him, they still showed him he was there. So that's the kind of thing that kind of freaked me out. But that dude left. I mean, he was gone. Right after that, he packed up and he took off.
I wonder why. That's weird. Now, I would have had every reason to leave because I was pretty worked up that first night. But, I mean, I didn't drive 143 miles so I could turn around and go.
Well, when you're out there, like I said, you can go to a lot of places and have, if you really want an interaction. And I guess this is a different one that's kind of a habituation type thing. Like Rick's and mine and Angie's and quite a few other people that I've talked to. What happens is you go out in the woods and you're going to an area that's been known to have Sasquatch in it. And so you take your normal stuff, your camcorder, you take your audio or your parabolic or whatever the case may be, and you go out there and you're listening to night sounds and your brain is already engaged to certain sounds. Whoops, tree knocks, stick breaks, owl signs, coyotes. Your brain is already ready for that kind of stuff. So when you hear them, you now put yourself on a little bit of an edge. Okay?
Yeah.
Yes, I heard this. Okay, maybe it's this confirmation. Okay, here's next. Maybe there's more confirmation. And your whole demeanor changes going out into their area that you don't live.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When they're on the property all the time, it's completely different.
Yeah.
They don't have, I've talked to people that have them on their property where they have a lot more aggression.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sometimes some of the juveniles at Rick's place are a little borderline, a little on the aggressive side.
Yeah.
Because they like to throw things to make him jump. And that could be the brat in me that says, ha ha, but when you think about it, they get kind of close to him.
Right.
They don't get that close to us by throwing stuff. They just stand there.
Yeah.
They don't do any of the stuff that I've seen in so many other places. They just stand there. They just watch you. They will leave gifts. They will maneuver. I bet you 10-1 when I go back with Bigfoot Odyssey at the end of the month, because they're going to do that show right after Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
And I bet you 10-1 I'm going to walk over to those rocks that you did, and they're going to change something. And I'll go there and take a picture of it. If it hasn't changed, I'm still going to do that.
Well, I'll send you a screenshot.
I got one.
Did you take a picture?
I was videotaping.
Okay. I videotaped.
Exactly.
I held my camera down too, so we both got a picture of what it will look
Right.
like. And I don't think, I mean, I really don't think if a storm blew through, or I don't really think any of that stuff will move. I mean, now it wouldn't
No,
be, I mean, you could probably debunk it if a marble rolled off. I mean, that's
well,
kind
I
of
could
natural.
debunk it if I could debunk it if the horses went through there and knocked them all off.
Right.
What they do is distinct, like that A that I showed you on the ground.
Uh-huh.
If that A was just kicked, okay, it'd be in someplace around there. But
Right.
the A that I put on the ground, they picked up identically and turned it in a different direction.
Yeah.
That's completely different.
I
know,
remember
they
you
will
showing
maneuver
me that. I remember you showing me where they placed the A when they would move it,
Yeah.
but I can barely remember you moving it back. And I think you did put it. I mean, you put it back.
Yeah, because what you did was you turned around to the weaving as
Yeah.
I was putting that back on the ground.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
if you turned around, I had picked it back up and put it right back where it was.
Mm-hmm.
And then we came out, turned around later, and there it was back in the other direction.
Oh, sorry,
So
y'all.
they had to have been in there in between the times that we were right in that area.
Well, but that happened during the night, though, right?
We don't know when it happened.
Well, I mean, it was in the daytime when you were telling me about it, and then it was the next morning that we were back there looking at that track, and you
Yeah, but I'm
noticed
still
that it
saying
had
I
moved.
don't know when they did it.
Right,
Because
right.
Like when they tossed that apple at me, it was 2 seconds after we had walked away.
When
You
did
know,
they
I
throw
mean,
an
we
apple?
don't know when they do it. Yeah.
When did they throw an
Leave it
apple?
on him. What?
When did they throw an apple?
Oh, remember I told you when I was leading Lizzie and we were putting the apples out, and about 15 feet away from us, after I just put down, after I just put down the apples up in the tree, we had walked off, and Lizzie and I kind of split up. We were about maybe 5 feet away from each other, maybe a little bit more, and an apple came rolling between the two of us. Now, from that far away, if it had fallen off the tree, you know that ditching area is more level.
Yeah.
Now, where we walked off to roll down, but they would have had to have actually tossed it our direction. It wasn't thrown, it was tossed, so it rolled between Lizzie and I, and we just kind of looked at each other, and I said, "What's the matter? You're tired of apples?" You know, and we just started giggling. But we were standing right there. We saw nothing or heard nothing. And, I mean, it couldn't have been 10 feet away from us.
Wow. That'd been
Yeah.
kind of cool. But you know what I'm
Yeah.
sitting here thinking about is how creepy it is to even know that there was something 3 foot tall out there. I'm still a little processing that one. I can deal with the fact that Boo was across the way than knowing that a little 3 foot troll was behind the trailer. That makes
not
me
a
more
troll.
uncomfortable than knowing Big Fat Daddy was out there in the woods.
You know, Big Fat Daddy scares the daylights out of me, but those little ones are just cuter than cute.
I don't want to see him in the dark, though. And it was dark, you know. And to know that the little creeper was right there, no, I'm not good with that. I'm not, no, I need a few more visits under my belt before I look out and see a little gremlin on the ground.
It's not a gremlin.
Whatever.
But the canopy alone, if you're out there taping during the day, if the sun is in a perfect place in the shade underneath that canopy, it's dark enough back there during the day, you know, with a full canopy. Now you do that at night, and I have actually put my hand 5 feet in front, or not 5 feet, my hand directly in front of my face, and couldn't see my hand. I mean, that's how dark.
Well, see, now I want to go back over the video when y'all were mushrooming. Now I want to see if there's a little 3 foot critter hanging around. Because I'm telling you, that could hang out in a tree and I'd never see it.
Well, yeah. M.K. Davis had one that he did where it was climbed up a tree and then you know, kind of shook the tree and then climbed down and jumped, you know, off the tree. And he was up there just making that, well, he was trying to make an owl sound, but it sounded like an ape. It wasn't really an ape sound, but he was imitating an owl.
Yeah.
But I can picture them doing that. And that's exactly what Sandy saw. And I did get Sandy on tape once, and she explained that she'd come out to let her dog go to the bathroom, and her dog, instead of going to the bathroom, hightailed it back in, and she looked where the dog was looking at and saw eyes about 3 foot off the ground, and then it went up about 5 or 6 feet, and then jumped over to the other side 2 or 3 feet, and then down back to the bottom again. And she's like, "What the heck is that?" And she said it could have been a possum or a raccoon. And I said, all you have to do is eliminate the possibilities. Now, can a raccoon jump, 3 foot up and 3 foot over and then back down to the ground? If it can do that, then that's what your brain has to say. That's what happens.
Yeah.
But she said that the direction of the eyes, the way the eyes were looking at her, she said she really believed it was a baby booger. It was bouncing all over that tree. And that's the same weekend. It was the same weekend that I found that baby prince.
Yeah. I remember that video. Well, it was a good time. I can't wait to come back. As much as I love wintertime and not being hot, I can't see me being back before it's a little bit warmer again. Or at least in the spring. Why am I yawning?
Because you're tired? You took Ambien already, didn't you?
No, I wouldn't be awake right now if I took that. But I didn't have a nap today. I did not. So, anyway, yeah, I don't see me being out during the wintertime in Oklahoma. Because something tells me it's probably really cold. So.
Yeah, it's really cool. Well, like I said, I'll be back at the end. I'll be back at the end of November, and then my husband and I will probably go back a couple of times after that during the winter because we like that there. The only time we won't go is if there's a possibility of snow or ice because we won't ever get down that hill.
No, well, you can get down it, but you ain't going up it. Everything slides down a hill, but going up the hill would be a whole different issue.
Yeah, well, my problem is because it's so narrow, we could slide right off the side. No, thank you.
Such a party pooper.
You drive up there.
I'm okay. I did drive up there.
No,
I got up that hill pretty good.
We'll probably go up. Denny can only handle going up there during the wintertime. He can't handle the heat because I don't have electricity,
I know, yeah. That'd be tough during the summer. Plus, I don't want to sit out and get ate up by mosquitoes.
There's not a lot of mosquitoes up there.
Well,
there's more mosquitoes over by Sandy's place because she dug that pond, but I don't have a lot of mosquitoes up there. What we do have is seed ticks. And I mean, we have seed ticks. I will tell you to load your legs down with olive oil before you go outside.
Really?
Yeah, I went ahead and showed Denny. I went out with white socks. I put on a pair of his white socks, which came to my knees, and walked out into just the front yard part, the part that's cleared off, and came back, and they were almost black. They were covered with seed ticks.
And when was this? During the summer?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll skip summer.
Well, like I said, all you got to do is put on olive oil, and they don't like it.
I mean, putting it on your clothes or just on your skin?
And just put it on. I put it on my ankles to my knees, and I don't get any tick bites.
Really? But they can still get on your clothes, right?
They'll be on your clothes, but you learn how to do that. I'll tell you about that when you get up there.
Yeah, that's... All right, well, I appreciate everyone hanging in there and listening to the adventures of Dee and Lisa from Monday, Tuesday, and half of Wednesday. But I appreciate you letting me come and hang out. Breakfast was good. And we didn't get the hamburgers because we ate a late lunch. But, and we had beans and weenies because that's just a camp out must. So, anyway, but I'm going to sign off for now. I need to get to sleep. I got to do a photo shoot at 11, family portrait session. So,
all right.
So, anyway, thank you all for hanging in there and listening to our adventure story. And I will admit it, I was a big old chicken booby. And
That's all right, that's normal.
but I did get to capture Big Ugly, just chilling
He's
like
not
a villain.
ugly. He's adorable.
Well, if he was
He's
adorable,
not
he'd
ugly.
be in a magazine, and he ain't.
He's
So
adorable.
anyway, all right, guys, I will sign off, and I will see y'all later. Bye, guys.
Good night, everybody.
All right, here we go. Bye.
Bye, Lisa.